Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you tuning in once again. So we're on our Bronco build, our build series. This is video number 3. So coming along pretty good. The body is painted. Like I said, I messed up on some videos. I deleted some accidentally. Why I did that? It just seemed like something to do at the time, I guess. These things happen. Not a big deal. So anyways, I don't have the mix procedure how I normally mix things. It's kind of the same way I always do my mixing. So that's pretty much the only thing that was missing out of this video. So I show you in the video painting the body, and we're also going to take the body and wet sand it down. I wasn't going to at first because it turned out pretty good, and I thought, you know what? But there's a couple spots in it, and I'm going to put the decals on it. And I thought, you know what, I might as well seal the deal with the decals, put some clear on it. We're going to use some MCW clear coat next video and go that route. So I show you the wet sanding, and also, like I say, put the decals on it, and I did a little extra on the hood. The hood comes with a black decal for the top. It's optional, obviously, but I painted mine instead, and I added a little extra touch to it. I think it turned out pretty cool. I'll show you that to you at the end of this video. So then we're going to just let this sit. So video number 4, we're going to get it in clear coat and go from there, and the body be ready to go other than assembling it. So we'll take you over to the bench and get started on that pretty soon here. And like I said, we're going to go right to the paint booth and get that going. So first off, my uncle stopped over and he says, hey, you want this? I've had this on my shelf for 25 years. Been meaning to give it to you. It's a trailer hitch cap, and I thought, sure, why we just give it to me, why not? But it's old. Check out the box. So that is old school SVO, and I thought, really, I wonder what that is. How cool is that? So it's an antique. So I opened it up and I thought, wow, they don't make stuff like this anymore at all. So I thought, sure, I'll take it. I know it's not model car related, but I thought, hey, this is pretty cool. It's just something neat to look at. And I thought, I probably never put it on the car. This is aluminum. Check that bad boy out. That's solid aluminum. And I guess they made a pin for it. So this goes in your trailer hitch. And they made a chrome pin, and it had a Ford thing on there too. He said he didn't buy the pin because his kids use the truck all the time, my cousins. And he said, I know it's going to happen. They're going to lose the pin, so I'm not going to spend the money on it. And it'll just get lost anyway. So I thought that was pretty cool. So it was 25 plus years sitting in a box. New old stock, I guess you go that way. So I just thought it was kind of cool. Thought I'd show you. That was pretty neat looking. So anyways, enough of that, I guess. So I'll take you over to the paint booth, and let's get this Bronco painted and show you it turned out. Like I say, it turned out pretty nice. So let's get started. Oh yeah, that cover's nice. Wow, that cover's really nice. Beautiful. Here, we hit that other underbody piece. Alright, let's try that hood out. Man, that's pretty color. call that hood done. can do just a little hit on the side of the frame here. That's it. So we got that Bronco all painted up. You had seen earlier. This has been cured out now. I'm probably going to go with a week and a half on this one. So it had been sitting in the Susie Bake oven for a while, and it is completely cured out. And I'll tell you what, that Area 51 color, my God, that sprayed amazing. I loved it. Loved it. Being this curbside kit, I wasn't crazy worried about underneath. Because to be honest with you, I probably would just glue this down and just be done with it once it's down. So other than that, I think that turned out really nice. Got a few little specks in it here. They're not a big deal. It's kind of a given, I guess. I'm really debating on if I want to clear coat this or just polish it a little bit. I kind of got into polish here. Like I said, I never used to do that with my stuff, but just ever since doing that Falcon model, I just, man, I don't know, I like it. I like the way it looks. I do have a few blemishes here. I think I could actually polish it out. The clear coat does give it that more of a luster to it. So I think I might clear it just because. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to panel line this. I'm going to wet sand this down a little bit. I'm going to panel line it, and I'm going to put our decal on here, and then we are going to clear it. I'm going to clear it and just be done with it. Same as the hood. I'm going to do I got a little spot here on it. Other than that, I got some smudges there, whatnot. So got this little spot here, not a big deal. Other than that, I think I'll just wet sand that out as well and go from there. So this, in the kit, they do give you a decal for the hood. I'm really almost debating on using it. Because now would be time to put it on and it can clear over it. So I think that'd look pretty cool. Just put that on there, but I don't know. I'm really hit or miss with it. So I may leave it off. I'm not sure yet. It looked good, but I think I might leave it off. Talk myself into it. So other than that, on the body, the only thing really needs to be painted is this here needs to be black. So that's not a big deal. The rest of it's going to stay the color it is. So from this point, like I say, I'm gonna give it a quick wet sand and get a few of those little pieces out of there. And like I said, we're gonna put that logo on, and I think we're getting it clear. So let's get started. So we're gonna use some 1500 wet and dry. Like I said, I just use the automotive sandpaper. I don't usually use the modeling stuff. Why? I don't know. I just do. Cut me off a little piece, and like I mentioned before, I cut it up. And the reason for it, and I've showed you that this before, is if you're using this big sheet, you're trying to pay attention here, and this over here is just eating away. And next thing you know, this is all completely down to plastic, and yeah, I got that looking pretty good. And you're like, ugh. So that's why I do that, and it makes it more manageable. That way, you're not this big chunk of sandpaper flopping around in your hand and whatnot. So it just makes it a little easier. Plus, you're not really wasting it as much. So this is a little more than I usually would ever use for this type of stuff. But being this is hardened enamel with hardener in it, it's going to take a little more to cut it. I mean, not a lot. But I usually like to use, all said and done, this is my 5000 grit polish paper. This is a 3M product. I actually like this stuff. It's a foam. You get one piece. It's a little pricier, but I think it's worth it. And this is the only chunk I got left because I cut it up. So you can see it's just a foam, and it works really well. I mean, it works really good. It is my to-go-to stuff. So like I say, we're just going to give this a light wet sand. I got a few blemishes in here, so we're going to get rid of those. And I think I put this on pretty decent. I don't remember. But like I say, this painted really, really well. I mean, this was a super nice color to paint. Very pleasing to paint. Now I'm not going to wet sand this at all because that's a sharp line. I mean, that'll be just like, oops, like right down in a hurry. So we're just going to avoid that neighborhood altogether. And I'm kind of going to avoid a lot of the areas in this, just like this body line here. I could see that going through really quick. So I'm just going to mainly concentrate on those spots where there's a little rough area. And that's it. I'll take a microfiber towel, wipe it off, just check our progress, which you're going to want to do often, just to make sure you're good. And like I said before, guys, if you're wet sanding this and you're getting like color, if you're getting color like galling up your sandpaper, then your paint's really not cured out yet. But if it's just lightly turning blue and that you're not getting streaks in your sandpaper, and then you're doing pretty good. So that's pretty much gone right there. So I think we're pretty good here. Like I said, I'm not going too crazy with it, just enough to wet sand it. Just a little bit, that's all it's getting. Okay, I'll do this side here. I had a spot, I don't remember where it's at. It's right there. It's up in the top corner. Of course it is. Like I said, I'm giving this just a really, so I'm getting nothing, no transfer on my paper. Like I said, that's what you want. Like I said, if you pull that away, that paper, and you look at the back and it's got like streaks along the paper from your paint, then you're definitely not cured out yet. I know a lot of guys using lacquer or acrylic, so most of the time you're not going to have that issue. A lot of lacquers, for what I use, you know, usually I let them cure out at least a couple days, and they may seem like they're dry, but they're not. You know, they're still kind of just like I mentioned before about primers. They seem like they're good, but then you get in there and they're like, haha, I'm gonna ruin that for you. They usually do. They do a good job at it. So it's here gonna be a little tricky because I don't stay with that body line. Alright, so let's see if we can fold this paper a little bit, and I just want that edge. Okay, I'll try that. These cloths, they grab everything known. It's like they just stick to everything. I think it's there. It's just a shade. I mean, just it's hair. Just a little bit. Careful. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I can see it burning through that edge right there. Okay, beautiful. And not saying I'm not gonna get, you know, marks in it with the clear coat, but the clear, you know, once you sand that, don't matter, you're pretty much good to go. So I wipe the back of that off. A couple spots I can feel in there. You just barely see it, one spot. You guys can see it, and that's that little round speck right there. That's what we're going to try to eliminate. And we're good. Alright, we'll get some clear coat mixed up, and we'll get the shot real quick. But before we do that, we're going to get that decal put on there. And probably should let that set overnight, to be honest with you. We're going to let that set overnight, because a lot of times you put decals on, they don't dry out as fast as you think, and the decal will be wet underneath, and what will happen is when you go to clear coat it, the clear coat will just kind of go around that decal because it's still damp, even though you think it's kind of dry, but it's actually not. So I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to just decal that, and we're going to let it sit. I like the decal sheet on this. It's pretty cool, very nice, and they give you a lot of these decals, which is really neat. I got thinking about it, I probably could put the Bronco horse on the back and the Ford logo, get all that put on. So we'll see how these AMT decals are. Last few kits they've come out with, the decals have not been that great for what I've experienced, and these are like, wow, I just stuck them in there, and look, they're already ready to go. Amazing. Scare my book real quick just to see where that, how far that decal is. So it's pretty tight to that body line and right tight to the door. So I just got to slide it over a little bit. Just a little bit. Should be good. You know, it'd help if I turned it the right way. I'm looking, I'm like, why does that look weird? 'Cause silly, you got it upside down. Oh. That explains everything. Something like that. We'll let them dry for the night. Let's see, we'll get the back logo put on with the Ford emblem on the back. So AMT really changed their decals because, like I said, those last Mach 1 models I did, those were horrible. Absolutely horrible decals. So I know the Bronco emblem goes about there in the back. I know it's on my instruction sheet, but it's just easier sometimes looking at the real deal book. So the instruction sheets, they just tell you it goes there. And that's it. So that goes there. So sometimes, like I say, it's nicer to get some actual photos, literature, whatnot, to see 100% where it goes. So a real good clear picture that's shown here is right here. So it's about midway up and it's kind of tight to the edge here. I see they're putting a chrome one on there, but we're going to go black. Because we can, because it looks cool. He's kicking up like this, so we're going to keep him tight to this fence. We're going to put him right there. Yeah, just like that. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so we're going to leave this. We're done with this for the night. So we're going to have to clear coat this in another time. So this might be another video for that. My hands are a little cleaner this time. Like I say, they were stained really bad from a job I did at work. I washed some things like I can't tell you how many times. And it's just like Gojo was not touching it. It usually does a good job. We got some weird crushed walnut stuff actually. That works really good. But it wasn't taking that off for some reason. It was like axle grease and like black muck. It just like stained my hands like so bad. It's like, wow. But we're good now. She's good. So yeah, so we're good here. We're good to go. So what, like I say, I'm going to do is let this cure out overnight. Let those decals cure. I have found this type of stuff. You may think it's nothing major, but wow, let it cure. I'm telling you, let it cure. Your troubles are heading your way. So on my hood, I got a spot right here, and it was a little spot. I wet sanded it a little more, and I don't know what I got going on there. So what I'm going to do, because I thought about using this decal. They give you a decal in the decal sheet, right? That goes over this. And I thought, not sure. So I got a better idea. Instead of trying to fix that, I'm going to actually mask this off and paint that black. I'm going to paint it black, and then they give you a bunch of Bronco decals in here. So we got the solid one here. We got this one where it's kind of just outlined. And I thought, how cool would it look to put that on top of that hood? Either on black, or I thought about a different color. Like something else to match with that, but I think black would look good. And just clear coat over the whole thing, black and the decal, and call it good. I think that'd look pretty cool. So I think that's what we're going to do. So I happen to have some Tamiya tape here. I actually got some really thin, like Tamiya tape, like wow, thin Tamiya tape. So I'm going to grab that real quick. Hold on. Man, I know how to ruin a new mat, don't I? Man. The only thing about this is it's going to be harder to like tag back around it, you know what I mean? Okay, I think we got her. I think that looks pretty good. So we're gonna paint that black, cover up my little what the heck, and should be good, I think. I know I'm not 100% true here, but I think it should look alright. Now I just gotta get the rest of this taped off and go from there. You know, this takes a little patience, guys. I mean, it's not something you're just gonna rush through and, yeah, painted my hood. Take some patience to do this. I have some. I don't have a lot sometimes, but I have a lot to spare. So it works pretty good for me. Like I said, this is the part I enjoy. I'd rather do this than cut and flash. Alright, now we can go big with it. Next size up. Get some, was it 10, I think? 10 millimeter. So we're good there. So we got a big roll of this guy. Just one shot across and done. Alright, we're going to mix some paint up and we'll shoot this and see how she turns out. Alright guys, let's paint that hood quick, see how she turns out. Okay, so that looks. Get this baby, bad boy painted real quick. Okay, that'll work for that. Alright guys, let's see how we did. It is almost dry. So we should be alright. The magic part. So what I'm going to do is probably put this in the Susie bake oven for a minute. Let that bake out really good. I'm going to put that decal on it and then probably call it a night on this one. Oh, that looks super cool. Loved me a tape. Can't go wrong with that stuff. I suppose you can, but check that out. How cool is that, huh? Looks pretty cool. So now I'm going to put the Bronco decal on that, and then we're going to, I'm just going to clear the whole thing. So it will be glossy on the top, which I know you don't normally have the gloss on the hood. But to seal the deal and seal the decal, I think that'll be the best option. So I'm gonna, like I say, bake that for a second. Okay guys, well that's in there cooking for a minute. A little bake action. So we're gonna use, get this water up here. Not like putting a decal sheet down and you have a drip of water and it's sucking in that decal. Isn't that aggravating? I think it is. So we either have the full solid decal or the partial decal. So you can have Bronco across the front that's solid. So I'm thinking about putting the kind of like the just the outline decal across the hood. I think that'd look cool because I think about putting this one on the back window, because this is one that you remember back in the day. Everybody that had their cars back in the day, you always put that decal in the back or across the front window what the car was, like, hey, it's a Pontiac or whatever, you know. So I think we're going to take this one. This is the one we're going to put on the front, on the hood. I think that'll look the coolest. So AMT has really stepped up, guys, with their decals. I tell you what, like I say, doing the other builds, the decals have been horrible, but this sheet, very impressive. The decals are actually really nice on this. So note that to yourself when you're building this, that you're gonna have pretty much no troubles with the decals. Kind of like, now I'm referring to those AMT, like the Mach 1 kits that they come out, that yellow Mach 1. Those decals are horrible. Unless you guys got a good set, mine were horrible. So we're gonna get this put on. So I'm gonna give that just a few minutes in the oven, and it should be done. I didn't hear the timer go off, but It'd be close now. We'll see if the cookies are done. Hold on. Alright, I'm going yes on that. That looks pretty good. Check that out. How cool is that? Isn't that cool? So let's put this decal across there. I think that'll just seal the deal. And then we'll let it set and we'll come and clear coat it. Oh yeah, that looks so cool. That puts the cool in cool right there. A little dip. So I know a lot of guys do decals different, but for me, I like to just dip them and then you set it on the paper and let it dry from that, or let it soak itself out from that point. And one thing I really need to get is some of those decal tweezers. I think those would be really slick. So I'm using my other tweezers. They're not really the greatest because I get overly, like, I don't know, rough with them, I guess, maybe. And I bend them and tweak them and they don't grip as good as they should. So this should be nice and movable. Oh yeah. Okay, let's see what we can do here. I have to get to move this closer for me because it's just the way it is. Oh yeah, how cool is that? How cool is that? Okay, so I don't want to scratch it. So we'll soak a little Q-tip here. Get a little wet. I think that look pretty good. I'm not going to put microsol or anything on it because just in case that black's not 100% cured underneath. How's that look? That looks pretty cool, right? So now we clear all that. It should be all nice and clear looking. Alright, we're going to let that dry overnight. Alright guys, we're going to wrap this up. So I think that's looking pretty cool. So I appreciate you guys checking out the channel and following along on this build. And we will see you guys on the next video and we'll get this thing clear coated. So you guys have a good one and we'll see you later. Thanks for watching.